Well, as I mentioned, the State Department is urging Americans in the Middle East to evacuate. Now, this comes after President Trump said the war in Iran could continue for weeks. Joining me now is Washington Stand reporter Casey Harper. So, Casey, was this call to evacuate previously planned, or is this in response to Iran's attacks on surrounding Arab countries?
Yeah, thanks, Tony. This was not planned. This is something that is more expansive and more rapid than was expected. Even the president expressed surprise that Iran has been firing on U.S. presence in many of these Gulf Arab states that might have actually stayed out of this war if Iran wasn't recklessly just firing on everyone within shooting distance, really. So now we have the State Department urging Americans in 14 countries to leave the region immediately, use whatever commercial transportation they can to get out of the way. Here is Secretary of State Marco Rubio yesterday on the current dangers in that region.
You see the attacks they're conducting right now? They're attacking airports, they're attacking hotels, they're hitting not just military bases, they're attacking our embassies directly, they're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military.
Now, Secretary Rubio urged Americans in the Middle East to register with the Smart Traveler enrollment program, which gives them up-to-the-date safety information, which it sounds like they're going to need. Rubio said earlier today that about 9,000 Americans have already evacuated the Middle East since the beginning of the war, as Washington is stepping up their efforts to help American citizens get out of the region.
All right, Casey, obviously we'll continue to watch that. By the way, let me thank the hundreds of you who yesterday texted the word Iran to 67742 and joined the prayer initiative and took the pledge. And I want to encourage you, if you haven't done that, text Iran, I-R-A-N to 67742. And we'll give you those prayer points to be praying. All right, Casey, in other news here at home, the House Oversight Committee has released video from the depositions of former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. What are we learning from those?
Yeah, there's some very interesting footage coming out of Congress right now. So the House Oversight Committee released hours of footage showing that the Clintons being deposed about their ties to disgraced financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, in each of their depositions, the Clintons both said they had no idea what Epstein was up to. And at one point during the former President Bill Clinton's hearing, he did say that they had a right to ask these questions. Here's a clip of an exchange on whether Clinton ever visited Epstein's home.
Mr. President, did you visit Jeffrey Epstein's house while you were president?
I do not remember doing that. I do not believe I did.
How do you explain this discrepancy?
Objection, calls for him to speculate.
I can't speculate. But all I can tell you is I don't remember being there.
Now, Clinton went on to say he never had any sexual contact with anyone introduced by Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's associate. So more data coming out here, Tony, but it's kind of sad that we even have to talk about this kind of thing.
But I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.
No.
Another topic, Casey, the U.S. Supreme Court has blocked a restriction in California that was preventing school officials from informing parents if their children were transitioning or pretending to be another gender. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, this is a big ruling from the Supreme Court on this case out of California. So the majority of the justices voted yesterday to stop this California law that really muzzled teachers and prevented them from telling parents, hey, your child is trying to transition their gender using different pronouns, that kind of thing. And it came after a legal appeal. Now, the court decided parents have the right to not be shut out of participating in decisions regarding their child's mental health. Now, the ruling was in favor of the parents, and it found, importantly, that they had both a religious right to be involved in their kid, but also a parental right, which seemed to be separate and was an important notice here, Tony. So a good win for parents. Kind of amazing the court had to weigh in on something like this, but parents should be glad with the ruling.
Yes, I would say, Casey, that we are glad that they, using our pronouns, that they made this decision. All right, thanks so much for joining us and bringing us up to date.